I got her. Not still young, gang.
I
Wow.
wasn't quite ready.
No, I sprung that on you, didn't I?
You did.
Well, hi, honey. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you ready to learn about the Bible today?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to teach me something.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you don't remember, for those of you that don't remember, last time, God fucked over a lot of nations. You know why?
Why?
Because they followed his orders. They did what God wanted, and so he fucked them over.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. He especially fucked over the Egyptians, though. For one thing, he made fish stick to them in some kind of like weird mutation type thing. He also put a jaw, like a hook in their jaw. Every single Egyptian put a hook in their jaw, picked them up, dropped their ass in the middle of the desert so vultures would eat them.
That's super weird.
Yeah, I know. This was after he had all the fish stick to him, so it was, like I said, that's...
You keep saying fish stick, and I just keep seeing fish sticks, like the food.
Well, I kind of imagine it being like if there was a worse superpower than Aquaman's,
Mm-hmm.
it would be having fish stick to you. It's like, I'm going to give you this superpower. Oh, what is it? Well, fish will just sort of become magnetized to you. I mean, it's not magnetism, but it works the same way.
It would be stinky.
What the fuck is that going to do for me? Like, can I suck up a shark from the ocean or something like that? No, it's just like little stream fish that whoosh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's your power. It's a lot like in that new Suicide Squad movie, the one guy who can detach his arms. Like, what the fuck is that?
That movie was awful.
It was fantastic.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
I feel like you're not in a good position to give a very good critique of that movie.
Am I not? I mean, I have eyeballs and I watched it.
I mean, yeah, but you're already prejudiced against all like superhero movies in general. So,
Am I?
anyways, today though, God is going to tell Eazy-E that he is going to destroy the island city of Tyre. Like, fully grind it down and, totally destroy it. Nebuchadnezzar from Babylon's going to do this. He's also going to destroy all of the mainland settlements, too.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to... Nebuchadnezzar's going to plunder that booty.
Figures.
Yeah, it does. God is going to make the island city of Tyre, by the way, that city of Tyre, he's going to make it desolate, and then he's going to sink the city like Atlantis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And that's not what happens in history, but we'll get to that. Tyre's king thinks he is a god, but and God cannot stand for that. In fact, I don't know if he's saying that Satan is the king of Tyre, or if the king is just very Satan-like. But anyways, he says that he's very pretty and that he created him that way, and then he kicked his ass out of God's house. And so I guess he's kind of a pissed off, rebelling teenager kind of figure. I don't know. When I got kicked out of my house when I was younger, I just sort of, I got a job in an apartment. Instead of like, I guess, taking over an entire city. But anyways, God says, I made you, and I've made you and brought you into this world, and I can take you out of it. And that's what he does with Nebuchadnezzar. He orders Nebuchadnezzar to come in and fuck him up. Then God curses Sidon with a plague that fills the streets with blood. Now, I don't know what the fuck is up with God and blood. I feel like he's got an unhealthy attachment to it. I wonder if it's because like he doesn't have blood because he's like a celestial figure.
Right.
Maybe he's like jealous of his creations that they have blood and he doesn't. And so he's like, you know what? Here's a plague that's going to cause you to melt and fill the streets with blood. Anyways,
that sounds pretty terrible.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He reinforces to them that there will not be any more neighbors to the Israelites that don't follow the HOA guidelines. He's gonna fuck them all up and make sure that they follow. They're nice to the Israelites and they follow all the guidelines. And then finally, God is going to give Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar as a reward for fucking some people up. The people of Tyre, that is.
All right.
And that's all she wrote for today. Well, that's all God wrote, I guess, technically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is it interesting?
I mean, it's the Bible. It's interesting. Don't you think?
I guess so. I mean, if you like streets filled with blood and entire nations fucked up for, I guess, being satanic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know. All I know is that the Satanists that I've interacted with are far better than a lot of the Christians I've interacted with. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that should be it for the Bible podcast, right? We can end it right here.
Oh,
shortest one ever.
No, I mean, we have to take care of it.
What?
Yeah.
But I did it all correctly.
You did so good.
Okay. What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
How you doing, hon?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, did you survive my introduction?
I survived. I typically do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to learn what I fucked up today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So today we're going to be going over Ezekiel 26 through 28 and then a few verses of chapter 29 because that gets added later as a footnote after the prophecy is supposedly fulfilled, which we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So are you ready to get into this?
I am definitely ready.
Okay. So we're starting Ezekiel 26.
Right.
In the 11th month of the 12th year, on the first day of the month, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, because Tyre has said of Jerusalem, Aha, the gate to the nations is broken, and its doors have swung open to me. Now that she lies in ruins, I will prosper. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Tyre, and I will bring many nations against you, like the sea casting up its waves. They will destroy the walls of Tyre and pull down her towers. I will scrape away her rubble and make her a bare rock. Out in the sea, she will become a place to spread fish nets. For I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. She will become plunder for the nations, and her settlements on the mainland will be ravaged by the sword. Then they will know that I am Lord.
Oh, yes, they will definitely know that he is Lord.
Mm-hmm. And I want to just start out by clarifying a couple of things. One, Tyre is actually two places, kind of, right? There's the island city of Tyre, which it's clear in the writing that that's what is being talked about because it talks about Tyre being out in the sea. There are also many other references that you'll hear through these next couple of chapters about how it's an island. It's the island Tyre that we're talking about here, right?
Right.
It also mentions in this first section, which we talked about, it says, she will become a plunder for the nations, talking about the island of Tyre, and her settlements on the mainland will be ravaged by the sword, because there is an old city of Tyre on land.
Right.
Further inland. It's not far, but it's definitely inland and not an island.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it? Ushu?
Yes.
It was also referred to as Ushu.
I think, wasn't that the dragon in Mulan?
Mushu.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Okay.
Close, but not quite. Okay. So that's an important clarification because we're about to talk about the siege of Tyre.
Okay.
Okay. And what the prophecy actually says. So let's continue. For this is what the sovereign Lord says. From the north, I am going to bring against Tyre Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, king of kings, with horses and chariots, with horsemen and a great army. He will ravage your settlements on the mainland with the sword. He will set up siege works against you, build a ramp up to your walls, and raise his shields against you. He will direct the blows of his battering rams against your walls and demolish your towers with his weapons. His horses will be so many that they will cover you with dust. Your walls will tremble at the noise of the war horses, wagons and chariots when he enters your gates, as men enter a city whose walls have been broken through. The hooves of his horses will trample all your streets. He will kill your people with the sword, and your strong pillars will fall to the ground. They will plunder your wealth and loot your merchandise. They will break down your walls and demolish your fine houses and throw your stones, timber, and rubble into the sea. I will put an end to your noisy songs, and the music of your harps will be heard no more. 'Cause fuck harps.
Yeah, fuck them. Also, can you imagine a soldier barging in and then starting to pick up the rocks in your driveway and throwing them out into the ocean? Like, fuck your rocks.
It seems like kind of a tantrum. It does.
It does.
Yeah. I will make you a bare rock, and you will become a place to spread fish nets. You will never be rebuilt, for I the Lord have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. So it can kind of be a little confusing here, right? Because he does say that Nebuchadnezzar will ravage the settlements on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also saying that they will destroy the island, right? Even though he's not saying that, because it says you will become a place to spread fish nets, which is, as we continue, he talks about essentially Tyre being sunk into the sea. So that fish nets would be able to be spread there because it would be no more.
Right.
Right. So he's also talking about Nebuchadnezzar's army taking the island city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what the sovereign Lord says of Tyre. Will not the so sorry. Before we move on. Sorry. In Ezekiel 26:14, he says, you will never be rebuilt. That is not true. Tyre is rebuilt by the Romans.
Right.
Okay, so that doesn't happen. And while the Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon siege on Tyre actually does happen, there is a siege on Ushu, right? On the mainland, Old Tyre.
Right.
There is a 13-year siege. And so that happens from the prophecy's time, 16 years in the future. There is a siege from Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon, on Tyre, the old Tyre.
Yeah.
But never the island city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it does get rebuilt.
Right.
So, right? Okay. This is what the sovereign Lord says to Tyre. Will not the coastlands tremble at the sound of your fall, when the wounded groan and the slaughter takes place in you? Then all the princes of the coast will step down from their thrones and lay aside their robes and take off their embroidered garments. Clothed with terror, they will sit on the ground, trembling every moment, appalled at you. Then they will take up lament concerning you and say to you, how you are destroyed, city of renown, peopled by men of the sea. You were a power on the seas, you and your citizens. You put your terror on all who lived there. Now the coastlands tremble on the day of your fall. The islands and the sea are terrified at your collapse. This is what the sovereign Lord... Yeah, I know. Ooh. This is what the sovereign Lord says. When I make you a desolate city, like cities no longer inhabited, and when I bring the ocean depths over you, and its vast waters cover you, then I will bring you down with those who go into the pit, to the people of long ago. I will make you dwell in the earth below, as in ancient ruins, with those who go down into the pit, and you will not return or take your place in the land of the living. I will bring you to a horrible end, and you will be no more. You will be sought, but you will never again be found, declares the sovereign Lord. Now, I think this is a little interesting, because while this doesn't happen with the Nebuchadnezzar siege, later the island city of Tyre is actually attacked and destroyed by Alexander the Great.
Right.
And when this happens, the 10,000 people in the city of Tyre are killed, and 30,000 people are sold into slavery.
Oh.
And essentially the Phoenician people and the Phoenician culture, which is what this area is, are lost to history.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So where it doesn't go into the sea, They're not. This isn't actually fulfilled in this way, but the people and their culture is essentially wiped from existence. But this is again later when Alexander the Great attacks the island city because he builds a bridge, right?
Right.
He builds a causeway and gets to the island, and they attack and destroy it. But again, it's rebuilt by the Romans. And it's actually still used as a port city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So God's wrong in a multitude of ways on this one.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Yeah. And just so in case anybody doesn't know about Dr. Josh and Digital Hammurabi, we did some additional research for this week's video with the assistance of Dr. Josh and his content on this particular topic.
Right. So y'all should definitely, if you want to learn more in-depth stuff, especially the counters to the apologetics of Christians wanting to say that the prophecy of Tyre being destroyed and all that has been fulfilled, then you can go to Digital Hammurabi here on YouTube and you can check out his content on Tyre. Because it's quite extensive, the kind of apologetics that go around that they use to get around this.
And what's great about Dr. Josh is that he is highly educated in this specific area, in the Bible, in this area, in this point in time, in this area of the world. This is what he's specifically educated in. So,
right.
I mean, you can say we're not educated in this, and technically we're not. That's true, but he is. So. Let's continue. Do you want to have a lament for Tyre?
Oh, another lament.
Do we want to wail over Tyre?
Let's have a little whiny bitch fit over Tyre.
The word of the Lord came to me, son of man. Sorry, this is Ezekiel 27. Okay. Take up a lament concerning Tyre. Say to Tyre, situated at the gateway to the sea, merchant of peoples on many coasts. This is what the sovereign Lord says. You say, Tyre, I am in perfect beauty. Your domain was on the high seas. Your builders brought your beauty to perfection. They made all your timbers of juniper from Sinir. They took a cedar from Lebanon to make a mast for you. Of oaks from Bashan they made your oars. Of cypress wood from the coasts of Cyprus they made your deck, adorned with ivory. Fine embroidered linen from Egypt was your sail and served as your banner. Your awnings were of blue and purple from the coasts of Elisha. Men of Sidon and Arvad were your oarsmen. Your skilled men, Tyre, were aboard as your sailors. Veteran craftsmen of Byblos were on board as shipwrights to caulk your seams. All the ships of the sea and their sailors came alongside to trade for your wares. Men of Persia, Lydia, and Put served as soldiers in your army. They hung their shields and helmets on your walls, bringing your splendor. Men of Arvad and Helik guarded your walls on every side. Men of Gamad were in your towers. They hung their shields around your walls and brought your beauty to perfection. So clearly, this city is full of people from all over the place, and it's skilled, it's awesome, it's rich, obviously, and wonderful. Yeah?
I mean, yeah. Well, of course.
Do you want to hear a little bit about their business practices?
Obviously. I mean, why else am I reading the Bible, right?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I would read the Bible for, is to find out the business practices of Tyre.
Okay. All right. Let's delve into the business practices. So apparently they fucked over people regularly, and that's a bad thing.
Well, so we haven't got to that yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Tarshish did business with you because of your great wealth of goods. They exchanged silver, iron, tin, and lead for your merchandise. Greece, Tubal, and Meshech did business with you. They traded human beings and articles of bronze for your wares.
Wait, what? They traded human beings as like they were property?
Yeah. I mean, that's how it seems right now, because it's just among the list. Like, you traded iron, tin, and lead. You traded human beings and bronze. You traded horses and mules. I mean, it's, no different, right?
Okay.
Apparently.
Maybe, I bet you that's something that apologists will hang on to, saying, oh, well, God destroyed them because they were trading human beings.
But that's not why he says, that's not what he says why.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying.
That's not why he says he does it.
Right. I know that.
We're
I'm
going to
just
get
saying.
to why he does it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely not trading human beings as like property.
That was not listed as the reason. This is just listing the business practices. We're going to keep going. Men of Beth, he doesn't say any of these things are bad. He just says this is who you trade with, essentially, right? Okay. Men of Beth Togarma, Beth Togarma. We're going to go with that. Exchange chariot horses, cavalry horses, and mules for your merchandise. The men of Rhodes traded with you, and many coastlands were your customers. They paid you with ivory tusks and ebony. Aram did business with you because of your many products. They exchanged turquoise, purple fabric, embroidered work, fine linen, coral, rubies for your merchandise. Judah and Israel traded with you. They exchanged wheat for minnith and confections, honey, olive oil, and balm for your wares. Damascus did business with you because of your many products and great wealth of goods. They offered wine from Helbon, wool from Zahar, and casks of wine from Izal in exchange for your wares, wrought iron, cassia, and calamus. Okay. Or cassia. Sorry, the word is split on the page. Cassia and calamus. I'll be honest, I don't know what those two last things are.
I mean, I have no idea what kind of grapefruits these are, so.
I didn't look that up before we started, so that's my bad. I apologize. Dedan traded in saddle blankets with you. Seems
saddle blankets.
Saddle blanket.
Like shit you'd put on a horse?
I mean, I believe so.
Okay.
Arabia and all the princes of Kedar were your customers. They did business with you in lambs, rams, and goats. The merchants of Sheba and Ramah traded with you. For your merchandise, they exchanged the finest of all kinds of spices and precious stones and gold. Haran, Kenna, and Eden, and merchants of Sheba, Asher, and Kilmad traded with you. In your marketplace, they traded with you beautiful garments, blue fabric, embroidered work, and multicolored rugs with cords twisted and tightly knotted.
Mm-hmm.
The ships of Tarshish serve as carriers for your wares. You are filled with heavy cargo as you sail the sea. Your oarsmen take you out to high seas, but the east wind will break you into pieces far out at sea. Your wealth, merchandise, and wares, your mariners, sailors, and shipwrights, your merchants, and all your soldiers, and everyone else on board will sink into the heart of the sea on the day of your shipwreck. Your shorelands will quake when your sailors cry out. All who handle the oars will abandon their ships. The mariners and all the sailors will stand on the shore. They will raise their voice and cry bitterly over you. They will sprinkle dust on their heads and roll in ashes. They will shave their heads because of you and will put on sackcloth. They will weep over you with anguish of soul and with bitter mourning as they wail and mourn over you. They will take up a lament concerning you.
Damn, that sounds dramatic right there.
Yeah, here's what they're going to say.
Oh, okay.
Who was ever silenced like Tyre, surrounded by the sea?
Atlantis.
There are other sunken cities, especially in that area.
Yeah.
In that region of the world.
Yeah, I recently saw an article where they talked about how there was a sunken Egyptian city that recently got excavated, and it's like it's still underwater.
Yeah,
but like there's like statues and all this other kind of shit.
I saw that too, though. I can't remember what it was called.
I can't remember either. I just remember seeing it. I'm like, oh, that's got to be pretty freaky.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this would not be if it had gone under.
Hey, you know what's
into the sea.
Right. You know what's going to be a sunken city soon?
What?
Miami.
Yes. That was the first thing that came to mind. Okay, so when your merchandise went out on the seas, you satisfied many nations. With your great wealth and your wares, you enriched the kings of the earth. Now you are shattered by the sea in the depths of the waters, which didn't happen. Your wares and all your company have gone down with you. All who live in the coastlands are appalled at you. Their kings shudder with horror and their faces are distorted with fear. You know, that's probably because they can't get the shit they need anymore to, get rich. The merchants among the nations scoff at you. You have come to a horrible end and will be no more.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this didn't exactly happen quite like this, but there's also a judgment specifically against Tyre's king.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's where we start with chapter 28.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say about so far?
Well, I mean, he hasn't. Has God said why he's destroying Tyre? Was all of that because the reasons why?
We're gonna get into that in the judgment against Tyre's king a little bit.
Okay.
It's not just because of the king, but I mean, we're gonna get into a little bit of that.
All right. I just hope they find the sunken city of Atlantis/Tyre.
It's still an island.
I know.
The word of the Lord came to me, son of man, say this to the ruler of Tyre. This is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I am a god. I sit on the throne of a god in the heart of the seas. But you are a mere mortal and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god. Are you wiser than Daniel?
Probably.
It's kind of random, but okay. Is no secret hidden from you. By your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries. By your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth, and because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you think you are wise as a god, I am going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of nations. They will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death in the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I am a god, in the presence of those who kill you? You will be but a mortal, not a god, in the hands of those who slay you. You will die the death of an uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners.
What does that matter that they're uncircumcised?
You know it matters because God really cares about that.
I know. He cares if you slice your dick.
Circumcised people get an honorable death, I guess, except unless you piss him off, and then not so much. But if you're uncircumcised, you definitely get a death that's shitty. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird to specify you will die just like uncircumcised people. What do you do to them? Not just kill them? Do you circumcise them first and then you kill them? Because that's going to hurt.
No, I think it's just you'll die like a bitch. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. Well, okay then. The word of the Lord came to me, son of man, take up a lament concerning the king of Tyre and say to him, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Carnelian, chrysolite, and emerald, topaz, onyx, and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise, and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you. And I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching. All the nations who knew you are appalled at you. You have come to a horrible end and will be no more.
So, wait. If this is God comparing the God or the king of Sidon?
Tyre.
Sorry. King of Tyre to Satan, apparently God threw Satan out of heaven and then lit him on fire and burned him to ashes.
Yep. That's what he says.
So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of God defeating Satan. If he's burnt to ashes, he's not alive anymore.
Well, he says you have come to a horrible end and will be no more.
Right. So, yay, God destroyed Satan, but then why did we need Jesus to come and...
So it's just I would say it's a loose comparison to Satan, but it's actually pretty clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very in-depth and descriptive comparison.
Right. I see now why Christians think that the serpent in the garden is Satan. Because right there it says that you
were in Eden.
And the only things that were in Eden as far as all that goes were the serpent, the two naked people, and God.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it calls him the Guardian Cherub.
Yeah.
And it talks about how wickedness was found in him, and he drove him out of his mount, heavenly mount, the mount of God. He expelled him.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a very Satan-like comparison between the king of Tyre and Satan.
Right.
But this is why he's saying, by your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuary. So he's saying you made yourself a spectacle. Your massive wealth, your dishonest practices, those kinds of things are what caused God to essentially come down on the king of Tyre, which is going to obviously come down on all of Tyre.
Right.
Okay. So we're kind of done with Tyre, but we still have a judgment against Sidon to go through.
Oh, yes.
So do we have any more about Tyre before we move on?
Just, fuck Tyre. Throw it in the sea. But obviously that didn't happen. So I guess God's kind of, he kind of really sucks at this whole prophecy thing, it seems.
Yeah, this prophecy certainly was not fulfilled.
Right, although apologists will say, hey, it did get fulfilled. It really didn't.
No.
Okay.
You ready to continue?
Yes.
So this is continuing toward the end of Ezekiel 28, we're going to get the judgment against Sidon. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face against Sidon. Prophesy against her and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Sidon, and among you I will display my glory. I'm against you, but I'm going to pin my dick on your wall.
Right. He's going to whip it out and be like, see, look, this is what you got to think about every day.
You will know that I am the Lord when I inflict punishment on you, and within you I am proved to be holy. I think it's interesting that his way to prove he's God is inflicting punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Not like doing good things. Doing shitty, horrible things. That's
causing pain and agony.
Yeah, that's how he's going to do it. I will send a plague upon you and make blood flow in your streets.
Oh, yay. I've always wanted my insides to liquefy.
Blood God.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The slain will fall within you with the sword against you on every side. Then you will know that I am Lord. No longer will the people of Israel have malicious neighbors who are painful briars and sharp thorns. Then they will know that I am the sovereign Lord. Okay, so he's taking away the people who are enemies of Israel so that the Israelites know that he's God.
Mm-hmm.
But he's destroying the people who attacked them, who he sent to attack them.
Right.
Okay. This is what the sovereign Lord says. When I gather the people of Israel from the nations where they have been scattered, I will be proved holy through them in the sight of the nations. Then they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Jacob. They will live there in safety and will build houses and plant vineyards. They will live in safety when I inflict punishment on all their neighbors who maligned them. Then they will know that I am the Lord their God.
That's how I know he's the Lord their God.
Is it?
Honestly, even if I was there, I would not know who the Lord his God is because, the Lord his God isn't showing up to do this shit. He's just sending his lackey in order to proclaim it.
Yeah.
So I don't know shit there, Ezekiel. Go the fuck away.
Well, so that's the end of 28. But I told you there's a footnote added.
Right.
Okay. So remember I told you that there actually is a siege on Tyre at the hands of Babylon led by Nebuchadnezzar II. Right.
Old Tyre or Ushu.
Ushu, yes.
Who's the cousin
Old
of
Tyre.
Mushu, who starred in the cartoon version of Mulan.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So that happens 16 years after it starts. It starts 16 years after the prophecy, Ezekiel's prophecy about Tyre.
Okay.
Okay. And the siege on Ushu the mainland Tyre, right? Old Tyre.
Right.
Is 13 years. It takes place over 13 years. Now, this is actually recorded in history, so this is a thing that happened.
Okay.
But after this, after the 13 years of siege, Ezekiel recorded a footnote to his prophecy. Okay, and it is in Ezekiel 29, verses 17 through 20. Okay, so we're going to read it real quick. You ready?
Okay.
In the 27th year, in the first month, on the first day, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, drove his army in a hard campaign against Tyre. Every head was rubbed bare and every shoulder made raw. Yet he and his army got no reward from this campaign he led against Tyre. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am going to give Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he will carry off its wealth. He will loot and plunder the land as pay for his army. I have given him Egypt as a reward for his efforts because he and his army did it for me, declares the sovereign Lord. So this section, this footnote here basically declares that the prophecy was fulfilled, but it wasn't, especially because he says that Nebuchadnezzar's army didn't get anything from, they weren't rewarded. Now, if Nebuchadnezzar's army had taken Tyre, the island of Tyre, they would have gotten all of the merchandise and the wealth, right, from Tyre, but they didn't. That's not what happened.
Right.
So now he's basically declaring it fulfilled and then saying that he's also going to give Egypt over to Nebuchadnezzar as a reward for destroying Tyre.
Right.
Which is not what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because God is shitty at this prophecy thing.
It's not great. It's not, no.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's amazing to me how apologists will try to claim that the prophecy of Tyre was fulfilled. And like we said before, if you want to know more detailed information on how it wasn't and how apologists are wrong about that, definitely look up Dr. Josh Bowen on Digital Hammurabi, and you'll be able to find out a lot more information there. But as far as being given Egypt, to Nebuchadnezzar, I mean, you're right, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But also, it's kind of funny how God is like, hey, you followed my orders, so here, you get Egypt and you can plunder it. Don't forget, though, I'm going to fuck you up later, okay? Because you followed my orders. Like, I mean, that's essentially what's going to happen. God's going to, like, fuck Nebuchadnezzar up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think later, it's either Nebuchadnezzar or maybe one of his sons or something like that throws a couple of God's chosen people in a fire and they don't burn because of magical God reasons.
Yes.
We'll be getting into that, I'm sure. As we're going to be going through the entire Bible. But is that all for today?
That's all for this episode. Next episode,
yeah.
We're going to go back into Jeremiah.
Oh shit, Jerry again. Fuck, I hate Jerry.
Next episode, we're going to have we're going to talk about Zedekiah. We're going to be in Jeremiah again. I think we're going to start with 37, Jeremiah 37. And the Babylonians are going to come back and Jeremiah is going to be imprisoned.
Oh, no.
I know, but don't worry because he's going to get out of it.
Yeah, is God going to Alakazam his ass out?
We'll figure out how it happens. Zedekiah and Jeremiah talk to, like, they have conversations with each other about what's going on, and they've got secrets. This is a bromance starting.
They got secrets.
They've got secrets. And so, but the good news is that Jeremiah is going to escape death.
Yay!
Right? But we'll see what ends up happening with them next time. Jeremiah and Zedekiah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, Jeremiah and Zedekiah drive off in the General Lee, waving a middle finger and telling everybody to fuck off. So y'all best tune in next time if y'all want to get all on the up and up about Jeremiah and Zedekiah.
It's definitely not what happens.
It's definitely Dukes of Hazzard type stuff. Anyways, I guess we will talk to you heathens later. Don't forget to go down there below and let us know what you think about this Bible study in the comment section. We'd love to hear what you guys think about it. And make sure you smash that like button.
And subscribe.
Oh, yeah, and subscribe. Definitely do that.
And don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.